Hello there. My name is Murray with my co-host Corey. We are The Real Guys, and this is The Real Show with two ears. As a promise kept is a promise met, as I always like to say. And a couple of weeks ago, we made you guys a promise, and now we're here to fulfill it. As always, I'm calling my co-host Corey. How are you doing today, Corey?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good, you were chuckling at my little adage there.
Yes, I was.
Okay. Well, what is that promise that we made to the people, which we're now making good on?
Today we are doing Marvel's Moon Knight.
Yes, we are. We're filling in on the Disney Plus MCU Phase 4.
Correct.
Phase 4 series Moon Knight. We covered the first episode about a month ago when it first came out. And then we stopped for a bit. We started Star Wars month.
We did.
We thought we'd continue on, but our recording day is Monday, people.
Yes.
And the episode hadn't come out. The finale hadn't come out on the Wednesday yet, obviously. So we decided to push it back for a bit and cover it now. So you got 2 episodes of Star Wars month. We will resume Star Wars month next week.
Yes.
But for now, we're just taking a bit of a pit stop to finish off Moon Knight.
Exactly. Anywhere you want to begin?
Anyway, we want to begin. Is there any categories you'd like to fill in? We've got the rest of the series to handle here.
We have,
and
yes.
the finale.
Correct.
Did you discuss this show at all? We didn't talk about it.
What do you mean?
Did you get involved on the conversation? I found it to be more polarizing than I would have imagined.
I can see that. I can see what you mean by that. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to describe, I guess.
Well, welcome to radio, Corey.
I know, right?
How do you plan on describing something that's indescribable? How do you plan on communicating your thoughts? Well, shall I begin?
Go on, then.
Shall I? Well, what we have here, folks, is something that people praised this series for being something that Marvel had never attempted before, right? People say, oh, it's very psychological, it's very psychic horror, psychological horror, a bit of thriller in there, scary at points, but mostly, filled with all the wonder and amazing spectacle that Marvel has come to bring us in series as before. Right.
Correct.
Now, we were going to stack this up to the others. That's WandaVision and I'm going to get this name right.
Go on.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Correct.
And Loki.
And
oh goodness, is there another one?
There's one more.
Oh, cool, goodness. Hawkeye.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Corey gave me a bit of a visual clue there. Thanks very much. So we have those 4, and now we have Moon Knight.
Correct.
So we'll see how they stack up. We'll give the series a rating.
Yeah.
And that'll be the part and parcel, the package for everyone. So we hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. Now, the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Were you set? Were you ready for the ride?
Yes.
Were you enthused with all of the wonder and the awesome power of the Marvel machine?
I had been waiting for Moon Knight for ages.
You're a comic fan?
I am a Moon Knight fan as a character. I've not delved much into the comic version. I was just interested in seeing how they adapted Moon Knight to a mostly kind of, like how they would tame him down. He's a very, violent character.
Yes.
And I thought, how are they gonna tackle that and not have it just be a bit more
swearing.
PG and a bit more,
How to bring it down.
Yeah.
Well, certain elements were definitely brought down.
Yes.
The origins were sort of shifted just slightly, and characters were brought in different roles and with different meanings. It's less of I think, arguably, it took more of less of a supernatural approach, I suppose.
Yeah.
Knowing his comic origins and knowing what they effectively gave him, which was dissociative identity disorder.
Yes.
Is that what you'd call it now?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. They effectively gave Mark Spector, aka Moon Knight, that.
Yes.
And so he created these alternate personalities out of his own trauma. So as opposed to where it's literally just kind of him under not him under a name, just him within the comics, it's more of a separate person.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. It's something like that. Moon Knight's a really hard character to describe.
To get into, to describe, to sum up, effectively, yes. But I feel like I had a good time with the series.
Yeah, it was a really good time.
I feel like there was ebbs and flows and there was ups and downs as always. The last 2, not the finale. The finale I thought was very strong.
Yeah.
The 2 episodes before then threw me for a loop quite a bit.
Okay.
The whole asylum concept. And by the way, spoilers. By the way,
yes.
Massive spoiler embargo here. We should kind of say, big spoilers before we start talking about anything that's too sensitive.
Yes.
Right. So, but even though I've spoiled the entire crux of the story by telling you that Mark Spector is actually the main character and he has 2 separate personalities.
Yeah, but that's early doors.
Yeah,
man.
but I knew that from the first episode.
Yeah.
And I was watching it with someone who didn't know, and I told them that.
You see, I knew
they
that.
and they knew they were more because it I think it relies on your confusion in a way. It relies on your confusion of what's going on, who's this. But I don't know. If you don't sit down to a show and want to be confused, then you're not going to watch the show, are you? That's always been my understanding. If you sit down and you don't really like it, then you're not going to watch the rest of it because you're confused as to what's going on.
True.
But there's that, and then there's the concept of a mystery. The concept of something being unknown to you. Thinking, hold on, I want to know more. I want to see more. I want to unravel the mystery.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of that. The thing that I like, and we mentioned this last time, is in the first episode, you're with Stephen, and that's it. You don't see anything Mark does. You wake up and you black out when Stephen blacks out,
Yes.
and that's it. And then, like, later on, you get the opposites where you're Mark, and then whenever Stephen takes control, you don't see any of that.
Yeah.
It's very good at kind of showing you his one perspective.
Mirroring it.
Yeah. And then the next episode, now you're following someone else.
Even though we may think that, even though from the finale,
Yes.
we may know that those sort of blackout moments may not have been Mark.
No. And it's like, that was actually hinted at in as well, I think, episode 4.
Yeah, episode 4, when
because
he goes to Egypt and he fights the dudes on the roof.
Because Mark wakes up and he stabs someone.
Yeah.
And he's like, Stephen, what did you do? And he says, I didn't do anything. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
And then there's a mystery third person.
We know there's a mystery third person who appears in the finale.
Yes.
So we have that as well. That's probably the reveal of the show, I think. Because comic fans were waiting for that moment. And when we finally got it, it was really chef's kiss. I really enjoyed it. So speaking of great characters,
yes,
obviously we've got to give massive props to Oscar Isaac. He really held it down. But there was watching. If you're familiar with, local, I want to say this is on the BBC. I don't even know. Sort of BBC primetime 7:00 chat and drivel show, The One Show.
Right. Okay.
If you're familiar with it.
I know of The One Show
here in the UK.
Yep.
They often bring on guests of acclaim.
Mm-hmm.
Benedict Cumberbatch was on a few weeks ago promoting Doctor Strange.
Yes.
They often bring on like a comic property, like a Marvel or a DC, or someone that's caught a badger that day or something, or someone who who's been spooning Angel Delight into a fox, that kind of thing. So someone's pushing bounty bars into a horse's face by then. That kind of content. The like 70-year-old women watch because it's Matt Baker and it's even on it anymore. I don't even know. But
yeah, good point.
The tangent is that they had Oscar Isaac on the show, right?
Yes, correct.
They had Oscar Isaac and they had Ethan Hawke on the show together in real life, sat together, and they were talk.
No,
you're right. You were thinking of something.
I was about to say I think I know where you're going with this, but I don't think I know where you're going.
Right,
with
where
this.
do you think I'm going?
There's a story, and I can't remember where I saw it, of how Arthur, the actor who plays Arthur,
Ethan Hawke.
yeah, how he was like essentially hired by Oscar Isaac for Moon Knight. Are you aware?
Yeah. Yes.
Where he's in a line outside a coffee shop.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Yes. This is that story.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Another story.
Okay.
Oscar Isaac. Yeah. You also told this story to Empire Magazine in February of this year. Mm-hmm. He invited. In fact, he was his neighbour, Ethan Hawke, at the time. They were in line at the same coffee shop. In Brooklyn, and Oscar Isaac had recently watched Ethan Hawke in The Good Lord Bird in 2020, and he was an executive producer, Isaac, so he just hired Ethan Hawke and got him in the role. So, and another thing that Ethan Hawke revealed on The One Show, in fact, that I also have it down in my trivia section here, that there's not much known about Arthur Harrow from the comic. He's only in a couple of issues as a very minor, in fact, even a Nazi villain.
Yes.
So, and he's someone that Moon Knight fights in the 1960s, right?
Yeah.
So, sorry, not 1960s, the 1980s, I apologise. The 1980s, 1985 even. So there's not much known about him at all. So it was most of his ideas to make him kind of like a sort of a Dalai Lama kind of figure, who this sort of religious, this like kind of a Fidel Castro, Dalai Lama kind of thing, the Leo Tolstoy kind of figure, and a Noam Chomsky almost. So he's a very charismatic, very very powerful man.
He is.
Who has this sort of undying need to complete his goals.
Yeah. Again, mentioned this last time. Ethan Hawke and Arthur is great. Now, obviously, last time we spoke with this, like we said, we were only 2 episodes in.
Yes, we were.
Yes. Ethan Hawke, at least at the start, I said that he fills the role of Anubis because Amit works with Anubis. Amit, by the way, is he's Avatar. Arthur is Amit's avatar. He's his like human stand-in, essentially. Anubis works with Amit. Anubis would use the scales, which Arthur does, and then if the heart was not lighter than the feather, the person would be consumed by Amit. Yeah. Later on, actually, this does happen, but it's not Anubis that does it. It's someone else.
Right, okay.
Which we'll get to later. But Ethan Hawke in this is fantastic.
He is. Now, I was very interested when we were discussing this because you're very into your Egyptian mythology.
I'm a big mythology buff.
Yes, big mythology buff. You like your mythology.
Correct.
You like your myth and mystics and all
My
of
mythos.
that. And your mythos.
Yes,
indeed. All the forms of that word. You're into it. So Egyptian mythology, kind of your thing. So it was nice to speak to you on that and kind of learn a bit. I felt like we'll get the same insights here, especially with Amu.
We will, because, thankfully, as far as my Egyptian knowledge goes, this film is pretty close with, unlike 4, which strays...
the series is pretty close.
Yes, unlike 4, which strays way off the path of Norse mythology.
Right.
This stays pretty close to it, as close as it probably could with the story that's being told, anyway. 4 is another tangent with the whole Norse mythology thing, but that's another tangent in the making. 4's still good, but it's not a good representation of Norse. But no, it's very good. It stays close to the lines with Egyptian stuff. That's also why I was interested, because I like that stuff. It's good to see it.
So Almut, by the end of the series, we see obviously Harrow's goal is to bring about the arrival of Almut and consume loads of souls and purge the earth of great evil by preventing it from happening, even from someone who will not commit evil yet. And
because Amit will sense, even if you're not doing good now, or something bad now, you might do something bad in the future, and you can't have that.
So, to release Amit and exact justice on judgment based on future crimes.
Yes.
So,
as happens to the old woman in the first episode.
As happens, yes, indeed. So, and also by using the scales, which you mentioned. So, do you feel like the representation of when Amit appears, he smashes the statue in the Temple of the Gods and in Egypt, and it rises in a cloud of purple smoke. I thought we were going to get a lost scenario, but no, it forms a large crocodile woman. Accurate to, I imagine it is a...
So, Amit is, let me just quickly get a picture. Crocodile is part of it. Do you know what the manticore is, or the...
isn't that a bug?
No.
Okay.
It might also be a bug. There's a manticore and there's the chimera, which are Greek and Roman. They're like 3 creatures all merged into one.
Right, okay.
It's kind of what Amit is. It's a crocodile, and I think it's... 2 seconds. What animal is... It's a crocodile, a lion, and a hippopotamus.
Okay.
All merged into one. It's a crocodile head, lion mane, kind of hippo, lionish body.
Yes.
Is Amit. So, again... close enough to where it's... I know it's a bit like, Hollywoodized or whatever, but it's close enough to where it's like, I'm not offended by, that's wrong. It's close enough, it's good. Recognisable, yeah, I'd say so.
Yes, and from an image from an image of the show's version of Armut, it's not too...
it's not too bad.
Accurate description, I find.
It's more like human-like than Armut would be.
Yes.
It's kind of more like... Sebek.
Sobek?
Yes, Sobek. Okay. The actual kind of crocodile god, the alligator god, who is kind of more human-esque.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, it's alright. It's accurate enough to where I don't mind it. It is verging on Sobek levels, though.
Okay. And then we have, it's just reaching the tip of Sobek levels.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to switch over to Khonshu.
Yes.
Speaking on Khonshu, I feel like Khonshu gets a bit of a bad rap at certain points in this series.
Yep.
I feel like Khonshu, he's doing his best. Sure, he's not perfect by no means. He does his own share of dark deeds, but I feel like he has the good of people in mind to protect those that commit evil. So, and Moon Knight is the left fist of Khonshu. I know that.
Yeah. To be fair, though, I like the fact that you're never sure if Khonshu is actually good or not. There's many times in this where you're kind of thinking, is he actually, like, is he good? Should we be going along with this, or should we not be doing that? And I like that, because also sometimes where like Mark and Stephen are like, I don't want to have any part of this. You're just going too far.
Right.
And it kind of puts you in that whole perspective of, maybe Arthur is correct, or maybe he's not correct. Maybe Conchu's too far. But then is it a lesser of two evils? Is Conchu bad, but he's not as bad as what Amit wants to do, and so therefore he's the good in that situation. It's quite nice.
I like that. The comparisons have been made. I mentioned this beforehand. Comparisons have been made to Batman for Moon Knight.
Yeah.
I feel like some of it was a bit overt
Yeah.
in the last couple of episodes, where you sort of see there's a lot of shots of sort of Moon Knight appearing in front of the moon, where he flays his cape out, and it looks like a crescent, and he goes over the moon. I feel like that's very reminiscent of the sort of the famous Batman shots of him flying in front of the moon and illuminating it with a bat symbol. So. But always, the Marvel versus DC thing, we can go on for ages, for hours about that, I feel like.
Yeah.
So there's not much point in us doing that. But it'll be a nice discussion to have at some point.
It would be.
Of the sort of the comparisons made between the comics and who did what first and who made who first and who went over to whose side and whatnot. I feel like there must be some kind of documentary on it. But,
there will be.
But the show itself, and for all its parts, I feel like... Did you ever feel like you were out of the loop? I feel like you were confused.
About what?
About the events of the show.
No, I feel like I had a decent enough grasp at what was going on. Straight away, I was like, okay, I got us two people going on, cool, fine. As soon as Contra appeared, I thought, okay, I assume that's who the third booming voice is. I thought, okay, cool. There was a part in episode 4 or 3 where they go in the tomb of Alexander the Great, I think.
Yes.
And there's that weird, like, guy who's essentially just mummifying this body, and then the woman gets, like, chased down by it.
He's got sort of dark... he's kind of like a dark kind of priest.
Yeah, that, for a second, because I thought, I don't know where this is going.
I feel like he was one of the guards, though. They mentioned, like, the guards of
I
the
guess
Pharaoh.
So. Yeah.
And they were like they're like zombies, almost.
Yeah.
They
but
were
I'm like
dark zombies.
I was like, okay, well, he's in tomb. He's mummifying someone in the tomb, but this is already someone else's tomb.
Well, he killed some of Harrow's men, because Harrow's men were going into the temple.
Yeah.
To look for what he were looking for.
Yeah.
And then those sort of guards, they're sort of very supernatural kind of zombie kind of skinwalkers were going around and stabbing people. And then making them into mummies, because that's what they've been told to do, I guess.
Yes. I can also confirm nor deny if Alexander the Great's tomb was actually not been found or not. I think it has been now.
Right.
Because that's the whole thing of, it's Alexander the Great's tomb. No one's ever found this before. I think I think we do know where it is.
Oh.
Because it's in Alexandria, which is where he was buried. Because that's why it's called Alexandria.
Okay. I thought they found it in Egypt.
It is in Egypt. It's in a place in Egypt called Alexandria.
Right, okay, fair enough.
Yes.
Sorry. I had some sort of weird thought that Alexandria was maybe in Greece.
I wouldn't blame you for thinking that, because a friend I knew thought it was.
Right, okay.
But I think they were getting mixed up with Achilles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe they were. So, I was talking to in fact, speaking to friends.
Okay.
I was speaking to another friend.
Right.
I'm going to shout this person out right now. Hold on, let me get my phone.
Oh. Go on, get your phone.
I was talking to them, and they have experience dealing with people who have DID, have this dissociative identity disorder.
Okay.
And we were talking last night about Moon Knight, and I'm also going to read you a little fact while I find what they said.
Fair enough.
This is from my trivia section, and it says that to better understand his character's DID, Oscar Isaac read A Fractured Mind, the 2005 memoir by China scholar Robert B. Oxnam, who learned through therapy in his 40s that the blackouts, depression and alcoholism that had plagued him were a result of 11 distinct personalities. Oh. In his research, Isaac learned that DID is predominantly caused by prolonged abuse that starts in early childhood.
Wow.
So there we go.
There we are.
And shout out to you, Geordie. Geordie said that, this is my mate. They said that there were a lot of people who have DID who very much approved of the sort of mirror visual between them, saying that the actual disorder can feel very much like that, and also that when you know that you have it, it kind of feels like you're backseat driving your own body.
Okay.
Which is quite haunting and quite frightening, really. But it's...
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's a good thing, I guess, because I didn't think of that. If like, is this accurately depicting stuff like that? Because you see it before, like other films are like
you get this. I want to say this sort of what's the word?
Romanticization.
Yeah, romanticization of Jinx. Romanticization of things like that, especially conditions like that.
Yes.
Where you see all these things going around, like, oh, I've got DID and whatever, but your hand's shaking. Yeah. That kind of thing. Where I see it all the time. This is going to be I do not suffer from DID. I'm just going to say, and neither do you.
Neither do I.
But something that I sort of similarly suffer with. I'm autistic, you know that.
See, I was going to mention this because that's the one that I hear a lot about autism not being. Like, I hear like everyone goes, Rain Man, great. Everything else, no.
Right, okay. Okay, well, I have autism.
Yeah.
Right? Even though it's very low, even though I'm very low on the spectrum, it's sort of close to Asperger's, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But it affords me certain advantages. It affords me certain disadvantages. I'm very creative. I'm a horrible worrier. Mm-hmm. You know me. I've got crippling anxiety to the point where I'll say something wrong and I'll be in my head about it for 2 weeks to a very dangerous degree. Right. So it affords me certain advantages. It affords me certain disadvantages.
Yes.
You know, I'm very detail oriented. I'm very particular. I like everything a certain way. I have a very strict morning routine. Mm-hmm. You know, things like that. And my point is, right? My point is that it's the realistic portrayal of something that I feel like makes me feel good.
Yes.
The fact that this has been taken time with, this has been taken care with. Someone's looked at the facts. Someone has interpreted it in a way which is respectful. That's the word, respectful to actual people who have it, and doesn't treat it like it's some kind of debilitating illness.
Yes.
Or something to be ashamed of.
Yes.
Right. Or something to be, as I say, something to be ashamed of, something to be condemned, and it's not. It's a very real condition that affects a lot of people. So I appreciate the respect, I appreciate the care that's been taken to handle it, and I appreciate the amount of thought that's gone into it as well. It's not been it's not been pushed under the table. Oh, he's got this. It's a major thing.
Yeah.
So, and I champion people who live with it daily and who go through the struggles because I can empathise.
Yes.
That's the right one, isn't it? Empathy is when you can.
Yeah.
Sympathy is when it has happened to you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. If it's happened to you, you don't want sympathy from other people, but then it'd be them being empathetic to you.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So if I fall over and graze my knee, and you fall over and graze your knee, I'll be empathetic. I'll be sympathetic to you because I've already done it.
Yes. Maybe.
But if
English is not my strong suit.
Right. Okay. Neither is I. Anyway, moving on. We've also got a very important character.
Okay. Hit me.
Scarlet Scarab.
Correct.
Also known as Layla. I'll try and pronounce his name.
Go on.
Layla El-Faouly.
Foley.
I think. Played by May Callum-Way. So Scarlet Scarab again. We know that sort of Moon Knight's lover in the comics is this wife in the comics is this character Scarlet Scarab. So and obviously the Scarab is a big portion of the story.
It is indeed.
Searching for this MacGuffin called the Scarab that leads you to Armit's tomb.
Yes.
So, and he uses the power from the Scarab, I believe, and
yeah.
She's the temporary avatar of again, I'm going to try and pronounce this correctly.
Go on.
Tarouet.
The hippo.
The hippo, yes. So she becomes the temporary avatar of the hippo, and the hippopotamus.
Yes, that one.
And
nice version of that, by the way.
Right, thank you. You can probably do a better one than me.
Yeah, it's hippopotamus. You got to get a nice, deep, crispy voice.
There you go. I've not got Oscar Isaac's deep, crispy voice.
No one's got Oscar Isaac's deep, crispy voice.
No, his just deep-fried, crispy voice. Nice and sensual.
Exactly.
Anyway, we've got Layla El-Faouly, who is the Scarlet Scarab, and she turns up in the finale. She's got the wings, she's got the blades.
Yeah,
she's really going for it. The costume is great. I really like the sort of melding of Egyptian armor and everything, and the sort of wings. And she's doing the Wonder Woman poses with the swords.
Yeah,
it's great. That final fight, the choreography, is really, really amazing.
Yeah.
So I was in awe of that final fight scene. You know, they're in the street in that sort of plaza. and they're sort of flipping around, and Moon Knight does this cool move where he does a backflip onto the car and he slides across the back of the car and he throws his two things. He throws his, what do you call them, crescent or boomerangs or whatever.
Maybe
It's sort of moonerangs.
Yes.
I call them moonerangs. He throws his moonerangs and it catches two guys in the chest and he flips back up and he spins them and then he catches them again. Oh, that's great. Cool move. So I love the fight choreography in this as well.
It's really good.
And the amount of Egyptian influences, the music, the locations, the mythologies you mentioned.
I could get this wrong, isn't the like director or writer Egyptian?
I believe it may well be both.
Because wasn't one of them like, didn't you like ask Disney like, hey, I want to write something or I want to work on this, and they kind of just let him do it. I think.
It's
I might be getting that correct.
American. I feel like the composer is a famous Egyptian composer.
Okay.
Called Hesham Nazi. Shout out to you, Hesham Nazi.
Mm-hmm.
You make some great music, and he was the composer for this. And again, the music really amazing.
It is really good.
Really nice to see. They bring back obviously Kevin Feige's at the helm.
Yeah.
Louis D'Esposito, Oscar Isaac has a executive producer role. It's all the same people that brings the consistency of a Marvel show, but manages to give it its own flavour, its own sense.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's one of those things as well. Like, if you're going to do something in Egypt, it's going to be Egyptian-based. Get people who are in that culture to do it.
Yeah,
just makes sense.
Again, it's about treating it with respect.
Yeah.
Treating the culture with respect, treating the ideology and the mythos and the religion with respect as well. So. Yeah,
I mean, that's the other thing that I kind of like about this is that I know obviously like Norse, Egyptian, Greek is often seen as like an old thing, but it is still a massive part of like people's culture and stuff. People still worship them gods as well.
Yeah.
People still believe in it and they still do that sort of thing. It's not as big as like modern day stuff, but it's still some people's beliefs anyway. It's still some people's belief system. And it is good to see that this has a nice kind of level of correctness, bit of respect, and.
Would you like a fact, Corey?
You got a fact for me?
Yeah. Do you want a fact?
What is your fact? Tell me your fact.
This is the first Marvel Studios series not to include any previously established characters.
Wow.
No, nobody appears that you've seen before. Everyone is new. How do you feel about that?
I did not think about that, to be fair. That, to be fair, did not cross my mind.
Did it not?
No. Obviously, like before I mentioned again, all the other TV shows have.
Yeah. Falcon,
they're all based
Wanda,
on people that we already know.
Loki, Hawkeye, everyone you've seen showing up already.
Yeah. I didn't think... Because obviously, like, you have people in, like... in Hawkeye, you have Hawkeye's daughter who's new and she's going to be brought in.
Yeah.
US agent was new, he's been brought in.
Yeah.
I didn't realise this is just essentially going, here's a whole new...
Kingpin in the Hawkeye show.
Yeah. Here's like a whole new plethora of people that we're just going to introduce and push onto. And it does really well.
Hard job. It's
a very hard job.
Bring in so many new people and not have, where's Iron Man? Where's Thor?
Iron Man's not alive and Thor is in space.
Yeah, Thor's in space. Yeah, I know. But you're always going to have those people, aren't you?
Yeah.
Always going to go, well, Iron Man looks weird,
Or as Tim Curry would say, space.
Space.
I love that clip so much.
You can't do it without looking up like that.
I love that clip so much.
Space. It's because he's laughing. It's because you can see he's cracking in the take halfway through, and he's just going space.
That's the best take as well.
I
want to see the other ones.
We did one. It's like the Simpsons show. It's the Simpsons show where Mr. Burns is in the theatre and he's going, we did 100 takes and that was the best one.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, yeah.
Moon Knight.
Back to Moon Knight. Yeah, remember that show, Moon Knight?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about it.
Yeah, we are.
But I feel like that, again, it's another great asset to the show.
Yes.
The fact that it makes you care and it makes you learn and go on this journey with these new characters that we've never really seen before.
Yeah, and these new characters that, well, originally were believed to be a one series finished, wrapped up, done with, and now could be a second one.
Another series. We're getting another one, it feels like.
It does.
The teaser for the second season was too good to pass up on.
If I'm not mistaken, as well, Marvel submitted this for an award, which is essentially like a one season, really like an award. But you have to have one season. That's it, done. They also like put out tweets, so like this is the series finale, and then they changed it to series.
Right.
Yeah, because if it was it's a season finale.
Season finale. They changed it to season.
Yes.
It was serious.
And everyone's going, oh, it's going to be another one.
I saw that on Twitter, actually.
Yes, so
I
I
woke up to that. I saw the fact that someone had taken 2 images fast together.
Yes.
For some reason, people habitually take screenshots of tweets nowadays.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
That's quite scary, I think.
Yeah.
Because that way you can't escape people. I took a screenshot. You can't hide, Marvel. You see all that all the time. So they initially put out a tweet saying series finale,
yes.
right? And then a few minutes later, it changes to season finale.
It does.
Everyone's going, oh, there's a second season, Marvel. Oh, you're tickling my ivories.
I reckon, because like I said, I believe the director or writer essentially asked Marvel, hey, I want to do something. And then Marvel were like, okay, you can do Moon Knight. I reckon like it's one series anyway. So if you do it and it doesn't work out, one season. And I reckon now they're seeing how everyone loves it and how popular it is. You know what? We can do more of that. Why not? We'll do more of that.
Because I feel like the ending is rather open. Well, no. The ending up until the end of the last episode is quite closed.
Yes.
Like we don't know whether it was in his head or not. We don't know what's a dream and what's real. We don't know whether the asylum is real at all or who was real and who wasn't. Was Harrow actually the villain the entire time? Was he not? Was it all in his head? Was the asylum and stuff like that? And was he trapped in there? And is Stephen Grant and Mark Spector, are they the same person? Are they different people?
Mm-hmm.
It all brings it together. And obviously the last 2 episodes are quite crucial in that.
Yes.
But we're given an ending of, he's just back in his bed and he's Mark and he's got 2 fish instead of 1.
Yeah.
And
we spoke about the fish last time.
we did. But obviously, Marvel, you stay after the credits.
Yes.
Everyone, it's the bane of theatre rushes everywhere, where half the people don't actually get up and leave because they're sat there in the credits for a Marvel film, going to watch the end. So you wait till the end and you see the asylum, whether it's the same one or not.
Yeah.
And Harrow's in there because he's been captured, he's been defeated, he's been vanquished by the heroes.
Yes.
And he's put in an asylum and he's wheeled away by a mysterious man who I don't want to say I knew it was coming, but they did a lot. They took a lot of liberties to hide this man's face.
Yes.
Just wheeling him out, or put him he's wearing a big coat and a big hat and a big scarf, and he's wheeling Harrow away, and there's dead people around him. And then he puts him into the back of the white limousine that has Spectre written on the front, if you noticed. The number plate spelled out Spectre, and he gets in there and Khonshu's in there. It's weird seeing his big bird head on a little man's body. Isn't it? On a regular suited man.
Yeah.
Because when Harrow gets in the back of the limousine and he's like, oh, it's you, Khonshu. I was like, what, is he in there? That massive big bird man, like sitting in there. But no, he's wearing a real person's outfit.
Yes.
And he's just got his big bird head. And then he's talking, he's like, oh, Mark Spector has no idea who he really is. And he taps on the window and then rolls down and he says, this is my friend, Jake Lockley. And then he turns around and it's, and then he's Hispanic. I think he was speaking Spanish.
Possibly.
Because it's weird, because wasn't it Oscar Isaac's request to make Stephen Grant British?
It might have been.
I feel like it was.
I'm not too sure.
Because I feel like they each have a different play from a different part of the world, if I want to say.
Different twang.
Different twang. A lot of twang. There's Mark Spector, who is American.
Yes.
There's Stephen Grant, who's British.
Yes.
And there's Jake Lockley, who is, I can assume, Spanish.
Yeah.
So, and of course, we're not going to talk about the accents or maybe how good / bad the British one is.
I didn't mind it.
You didn't mind it?
No.
The first episode was a bit jarring to me, honestly, just to hear that voice coming out of Oscar Isaac.
I thought it was hilarious. I just found it funny.
Right. Well, I'm used to watching Oscar Isaac in, Ex Machina and Star Wars.
Yeah.
Where he's, whoa, I'm the greatest pilot in the Resistance. I'm going to shoot down this TIE fighter. Pow, And now he's like, all right, mate, we're going to go and look at the security recordings. I'm at Moon Knight. I'm going to working at the museum. All right, mate, in it, brother. All right, look at this bloody Moon Knight. What?
Apologies.
You can just say anything.
Yeah.
You can just say words in that. You can just say words in that accent. It doesn't matter what you're saying, right? Put a bit of stutter in there. Put a bit Put a bit of repeating yourself. It's like the Jeff Goldblum impression. It's flawless, really. Here's another secret to a Jeff Goldblum impression.
Go on, then.
Is to repeat yourself and to add ums and ahs in there.
Great.
Because when you're doing, if you would like a demonstration.
I mean, I assume you were going to do one.
All right. See, when you do a Jeff Goldblum, you've got to go and uhs in the middle of your sentence, and you've got to say things that you've said already, and you've got to put the uhs in there. That's chaos. That's chaos theory.
I apologise to everyone.
There you go. Right, I'll do the moon. I'll do Stephen Grant, and I'll make up for it. Anyway, carry on.
Yes.
The highlight of the show for you. What's our best moments?
Yeah, put your head back in the game, Murray.
Okay, head back in the game.
Enough of the impressions of everyone we've done.
Okay.
Favourite parts of a show?
No, I'll tell you something.
Oh,
Just one more thing. There's a video where, strangely enough, it's about something supernatural. People can't spell the word with the word. I've already seen this YouTube video. People can't spell the word Ouija board on like.
I know it. Yeah.
On like Ask Jeeves or whatever, on one of those question sites. Quora, I think.
Yes.
People can't spell the word Ouija board on Quora, and someone reads out all of the misspellings to the point where. Someone spells it Ojo board or something, and he reads it in a British accent. So it's like, is it safe to play with Ojo board? And that's what I think of when Stephen Grant was talking. He's like, I can't play with Ouija board. I'm British.
Great.
I'm Oscar Isaac. I'm going around. I'm a Poe Dameron, fighter pilot, Finn, Carlo Ren, bloody Carlo Ren. I'm going farmer now.
Yeah, you are. You're going too far.
I'm going I've started South London. I'm going up to Newcastle.
Yeah, you end up in Combine Harvester.
Yeah, Combine Harvester. Yeah. Wait.
Exactly.
Wait, Kylo Ren.
No, that's something else now.
We're crossing too many boundaries here.
Right.
Highlights of the series. What is your favourite thing about the Moon Knight show?
Other than the obvious and the characters, I'm just gonna probably just mention the whole mythology basis. I love it.
Yeah,
it's great. If it's great, if it's accurate. Only couple of things that aren't accurate is the fact that the hippopotamus, at one point in episode 5, she uses the scales and weighs the heart, which again I mentioned that's Anubis' job. Tarawet is the god of birth and fertility. That's what she does. However, the whole thing of the boat that goes through the ocean after the afterlife is true, and it's what Ra does after night time. He goes in a little boat, has a guy called Set, and he fights a giant snake every single night. Comes back, and when he's back, that's when the sun rises. So that whole boat thing's true. But I love the mythology aspect of it.
The sea of sand?
Correct.
All that?
Yeah. But yeah, I love the whole mythology base of it. I think it's really good. And it's interesting to see, especially from my... Because when they went to the asylum, I thought, okay, it's probably an afterlife. And I thought, okay, this might be going into the whole Egyptian afterlife thing and where that kind of leads to and stuff. And Coptic's an actual language that they speak in the show. It's an actual language of real life. It's the only spoken Egyptian language. Obviously, you've got hieroglyphics and stuff, but Coptic's the only spoken one. Yeah. And I can't remember in episode 3, but when, like... Mark is trying to... Essentially, it's like the courtroom from when Mark's talking to all the gods, and he's like, oh, we can't... Armit's trying to release Armit, Arthur's doing whatever, and there's like Osiris is there, and Anubis is there. That's the correct... Like, the correct gods are in that place.
Okay.
So you can tell there's been research done to make sure that they are correct, and that they are following actual things, and I love that. I think it's great. So if you're an Egyptian buff, good time. Very nice.
Amazing. Very nice.
Very nice.
Wonderful. I'm gonna pick. By the way, that was fantastic.
Thank you.
I feel like we should start some kind of Egyptian mythology show now because we're so into it. It's wonderful. Maybe well, I don't know. I don't want to drop a teaser for anything that's coming up, but
if we'll probably at some point end up talking about other things that dabble into other mythologies, Greek, Norse,
of course,
etc., etc.
But what I'm gonna mention is it's a detail, but it's something you mentioned, right? It's the asylum, and it's going in there, and it's the fact that he's made this plane. Of course, the hippo explains.
Yes.
What's the hippo's name?
I believe it's pronounced Tarawet.
Arrowet explains.
No, Tarawet. It's got T at the start.
Oh. Tarawet explains that you've made this asylum your afterlife because the actual plane you can't imagine. Because it's not, it's unimaginable for the human mind what this place looks like. So you've made it into something that you are related to.
Yes.
And he goes, I made it an insane asylum. Is that because we're mad? That kind of thing. I really enjoy that sort of level of discovery.
Yeah.
In the fact that it's something I love. I love the sort of the astral plane kind of feel. Like they do it in Doctor Strange with the mirror world.
Yes.
They do it in Black Panther with the sort of realm of the fathers or whatever they call it, where you become with Bast, the giant panther god, the panther goddess and whatever, and you go to the sort of the purple field, and you go to the tree and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they do it here with the Field of Reeds.
Yes.
And which I'm sure is all based in.
Field of Reeds, I believe, is something.
Right.
I'm not fully Field of Reeds. Egypt. Here we go. That's just giving me pictures. Yes, it is. It's the afterlife in Egypt.
Okay, great.
Egyptian.
There we are.
Sometimes called the Field of Offerings.
Okay.
There you go.
A roundabout rating for Moon Knight as a whole. Have you put any thought into this?
Yes. So I can't remember what we gave all the others.
The first episode. I can't
No.
remember. Right.
The other series is
okay.
covered. But I do know for a fact that out of the other 4 we've done, this is my favourite.
Okay.
Out of Loki, out of Falcon Winter Soldier, WandaVision,
Hawkeye.
And Hawkeye, which is my favourite. I believe the highest I've given an episode is either an 8 or an 8.5. So I'm going to give Moon Knight a 9.
Wow. A 9's a big hit here.
It's a very big hit.
I'm going to temper your expectations.
Okay.
Right? I enjoyed it. It was very good.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. As a story, as a series, very happy. I don't want it to change anything about itself. Right?
Okay.
It's a perfect thing. Okay? Really, really good. Enjoyed it.
But
there's a book coming.
There is.
And in the words of Eddard Stark from Game of Thrones,
okay,
anything you say before a book doesn't count.
Yep.
Right? So, but I like some of the others a bit more.
Okay, fair enough.
I like the sort of the world of WandaVision. I like the twists and turns in that story. I like I don't want to mention Loki because I didn't have a good time with that.
Yeah.
Hawkeye. I like the sort of very base central family-oriented story behind Hawkeye. I feel like each one of these Marvel shows, like follow me on this, each one of these Marvel shows is showing you a different aspect or a different genre to like life.
Yes.
I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
WandaVision is like, what if you had your perfect world?
Yeah.
Because Wanda creates that show for herself, WandaVision. Falcon and Winter Soldier is, what if you wanted the world to change? So obviously there's Captain Anarchy in that show, and there's changing times and things like that without a Captain America, right? Who's going to be the next Captain America?
Mm-hmm.
Loki is what if you kind of had a journey with yourself? Like, what if you discovered yourself? Because Loki discovered other versions of it. So I'm sure it's told through time traveling and whatever. But what if you had other versions of yourself? How would they turn out differently, right? Because there's like there's Lokis that killed their Thor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Lokis that have become president and things.
Correct.
What's the other one? Hawkeye is a great family story, right? It puts you in the position of with your loved ones, Kate with her mum and Hawkeye with his family, right? And what would you do to protect them? Even Kingpin and I don't know what her actual, not a character's name is, but his sort of deaf daughter.
Yes.
His sort of adopted child, right? Echo, that's her name. Sorry.
Yes.
Echo. You'd sort of do if I feel like it's about different phases of almost discovering yourself in a way. Each show is about a different phase of discovering yourself, which I feel like is amazing and very self-reflective when you think about it. But for beating around the bush here, but my rating for Moon Knight is going to be, I'm going to just knock it down a point. I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay, that's fine. That's fair.
So I feel like a 7 would be at a service.
Yeah.
7 would be too low. I feel like anything below a 7, I wouldn't be happy with. So I feel like an 8 and a 9 is a good shout for Moon Knight. And generally, we're quite a positive show.
Yeah, we are,
aren't we?
Yeah.
This isn't a 40-minute slugfest on it. We're not going to tear it to bits. We're going to see its positives because we feel like overall, if it's not Army of the Dead, then we're going to have a good time with it.
Yes,
right?
pretty much.
So that was Moon Knight, and for the weekly rec this week, are you looking forward to this?
It's your turn.
It is. It's something from 2011.
Okay.
It's Marvel connected.
Right.
Are you familiar with the concept of the Marvel one-shot?
No. Oh, yes, actually.
Do you know what a Marvel one-shot is?
Is this not... Did they not do... I might be wrong on this. Did they not do this for... I think there was one for Hulk.
There was a few for several films.
I think there's one for Hulk.
Marvel one-shot. Right, the Wikipedia definition
Yeah.
of a Marvel one-shot is... Marvel one-shots are a series of direct-to-video short films produced by Marvel Studios, set within or inspired by the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Initially released from 2011 to 2014, they were included as special features on the MCU's Blu-rays and digital distribution releases. The films, which range to 3 to 15 minutes, are designed to be self-contained stories that provide more backstory on characters or events introduced for the film. 2 of the shorts inspired the development of MCU television series. Oh, which one were they?
Nice.
I have to find that out.
Yeah, you will.
But the one I'm recommending today is called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to Thor's Hammer.
Okay.
Which is a long title.
It is.
It's from 2011 and it's set before the events of the first Thor film. You mentioned Thor.
I did.
And the grasp of mythology it may or may not have. This isn't about Thor.
Okay.
This is about Agent Phil Coulson. You know Phil Coulson, Clark Gregg.
Yep.
Famous character from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Avengers.
Correct.
And Iron Man. The first phase. He's big in the first phase as a sort of leading S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. So, Phil Coulson, he's on a drive to Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah.
To look at Thor's hammer. Right, Thor's hammer's landed in Albuquerque and he's on his way there to assess the situation. He's driving and he stops at a local gas station, right, to pick up some snacks on the way.
Yeah.
He stops at the station, he walks in and he goes to the back of the store to look for some donuts. He can't decide between the pink and the brown donuts, the strawberry or the chocolate ones. Which one do you have, Corey?
I'm more of a strawberry man myself.
Oh, well, he picks both.
Yeah.
He picks both just then.
I'm actually more of a Sugar Strand donut fan myself.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm telling a story here. Anyway, door opens. Ding dong. It's 2 robbers. I'm just telling you the story. 2 robbers arrive. Hold up the store, right, with shotguns.
Yeah.
And Phil Coulson, they don't know he's there. He's at the back of the store. He's looking at donuts. No one knows that he's there. So they're saying the robbers are like, "Whose car is that outside?" You know. And then Phil Coulson pops up and says, "Oh, it's my car." And then they turn the guns on him. And he's like, all right, you know, calm down. He takes out his keys and he says, "Here you go. Here are my keys." He's like, "Oh, do you want this gun?" He just pulls out a pistol. They're like, "What?" You know, throw the gun over. It's like, okay. So he puts the gun on the ground, and then he goes to slide the gun over to the man, and then he grabs the donuts, wham, throws the donuts at the guy's face. He goes, oh, he's stunned, and then Coulson runs in, jumps off the shelf, decks the guy, pow, knocks him down, knocks him out, and then he takes the shotguns from the robbers, puts them on the desk, and says, you know, if the police come, just tell them to beat these guys up.
Yeah.
And I'll say, I'll pay for these donuts, please.
Fair enough.
He gets both, they can't decide.
So,
pays for both, gets back in his car, drives away.
Nice.
There you go. No more than 4 people in the whole thing. You know, it was included on the Blu-ray release of Captain America: The First Avenger on the October 25th. So,
got a rating for that?
There you go. I will give it a 7.5.
Nice.
So there we go, with Phil Coulson as the star. So, and it was meant to portray him as more than just a annoying bureaucrat of an agent.
Yeah.
Just a bit of an action star as well. And it's for free on YouTube.
Okay.
Watch it. So it's only about 5 minutes long, not very long. So just watch it. Great little story, really great. It's a good story in isolation as well. Just a nice little story that's set in the Marvel universe that just kind of happens one day. So
Fair.
There you go. A funny thing happened on the way to Thor's hammer.
There
watch that. It's free on YouTube. Just go and watch it. So that is my weekly rec. And for this week and for Moon Knight, it's a goodbye from me. Goodbye. And a goodbye from Corey.
Goodbye.